set your heart on Him and His promises? Are you in love with God? If you will begin to do that, you will be amazed at what God can do in your life.
Hi, my name is Yolanda Churchwell, and I'm so excited to be here with you today. I am the founder of the Business Assistance Group, where I help women entrepreneurs take the hassle out of their hustle so that they can make more money and have more free time. Today, I'm also here in that other role that was given to me that I did not choose myself, and that is the role of a PK. I am a preacher kid, so I'm going to try to stay on script, but if the spirit moves, so shall be it. So today I want to talk to you about the 3 things it takes to be intentional on purpose. So let's start with the definition. I like to just get these definitions right out the way. What is the definition of intentional? Intentional means choosing to make decisions and taking action on what's important to you. Choosing to make decisions and taking action on what's important to you. Now, what does on purpose mean? See, on purpose could have one of 2 meanings. If you think of it like the verb, which means that you're on purpose or you did something on, it means intentional. Takes us back to that first word, deliberate, by design, on purpose. Okay, so what about if you use it as a noun, saying that you're on purpose? That means that you're doing what truly matters to you and is in alignment with your values and your beliefs. Doing what truly matters to you and what is in alignment with your values and your beliefs. So I'm going to take it one step further because of where we are all at here today. Biblically speaking, your purpose is why you exist. It's the reason that God created you at this very time, on this very earth, to fulfill a particular need in His kingdom. So what does it mean to be intentionally on purpose? It means that you are committed to using the talents that God has placed in you to bring glory to His kingdom. It means that you have made a decision and have taken the steps and continue to take steps on a daily basis to use the gifts He has placed inside of you to play your role in His plan on earth and in heaven. As a CEO, when we are intentionally on purpose, our businesses grow exponentially. When we use God's blueprint, we are able to scale. That means to grow our business exponentially. We're able to make more money and we're able to have more free time while fulfilling the very calling that He has placed on our lives. So again, today I want to talk to you about being intentional on purpose and the 3 things that you need to do in order to do so. So 1, you need to get clear on what you do. Okay. 2, create systems to help you fulfill your purpose. And 3, build relationships that will support your calling. But before I could take you down that path, let me take a few minutes to prove my hypothesis. My hypothesis is that God is the God of systems and relationships. I'll take that a little bit further and say everything that we do, everything that we are and everything that we do is a byproduct of that statement. I'll even go a step further and declare that as CEOs, as children of God, realistically, if you want to break it all the way down, we should move in the same manner that He has laid out for us in all that we do, especially our businesses. So before I jump into those 3 points, let me just talk a little bit about why I believe that God is the God of systems and relationships. See, as leaders and CEOs, we know that the best day-to-day operations and long-term success are achieved by organizing and implementing systems, period. God created each one of us in His own image. And if we work to be like Him, if we work to do things the way He did things, we will have success. Genesis lays out how God spent the first 6 days creating the earth. okay, in a specific order on top of that. So he used a rinse, like what I like to call a rinse and repeat method. He did it once, and then he did it again, he did it again, did it again, and it continued to work. So first he created some things, okay? He said, let there be a heaven and an earth. He created them, okay? Then he created light, okay? He made sure that it was good, that it was working. He gave it time to work. He gave it the rest of that day. Then he said, he went on to create the sky. He created it. He made sure that it did what he wanted it to do. He gave it the rest of that day to make sure that it worked. So forth and so on with each one of the things that he created. Okay? Down to us. But let me tell you, see, God came up with this. He created each thing. And then he put it in place. Or in the case of systems, he implemented it. And then he tested it. Okay? He let it see if it was going to do what it was going to do. And then he left it to run. That's the same thing that we do with systems in our business. We determine the need, and then we find a way to fulfill it. Okay? So God created each one of these things, and then he put it in place, and then he let it do what it do. But do you notice that God did not go back and micromanage light? After he put it in place, he tested it. He knew it was good. He didn't go back. He didn't micromanage it. He didn't feel the need to make changes because he created it with a plan. He did it and he left it alone. He tested it, it worked, and he let it do what it do. Okay, so God uses systems. God is the God of systems. He created this earth with systems. That's just one example of the many systems that God has used since the beginning of the world. He started out that way. So when he got along to day 6 and it was time to create us, I say us, it was Adam and Eve, but it's us. That's where he comes in. That's where my second part comes in, that God is the God of relationships, because he created Adam and Eve for 2 reasons. First of all, let me back up. When I say God is the God of relationships, God is a relationship all by himself. God, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. He is the definition of relationship. I don't even need to give you a definition because God is the definition of relationship. Okay, but he created those first 2 people, Adam and Eve, in his image. So they're created to be just like him. And he created them for 2 reasons: to work and to have relationship. God put them there because after he created all of these great things, he needed somebody to run it. He needed a manager. He needed someone in place to run and to take care of what he had already put in place. So he created man. And man's job was to work and tend the land. And God went on and did some other stuff, but he left that man there to do that. And then he also created them to have relationship. See, we're supposed to have relationship. First was God the Father, because if I told you I was a PK. When you get this relationship right, then all your other relationships will work. But you got to have your vertical before you can get your horizontal. So God created them to first have relationship with him. He doesn't dictate how we do that, but he is open to having the greatest relationship with us. Okay. And then to have relationship with one another. He doesn't expect us to be down here and be with, I don't like to say by myself. I say with myself, because I'm not by myself. I'm with myself. I am some of the best company you could ever have. But to say God wanted them to work and to have relationship. So he set up systems so that they could fulfill this purpose. And then he promised to give them dominion, which is power. He promised that they would be fruitful, which is to be successful, and to multiply, to grow what he had started. Our businesses should be built on a foundation of systems and relationships, because that creates an environment for growth, sustainability, and profitization. So now that I've been able to show you why I believe that God is the God of systems and that God is the God of relationships, and I hope that based upon what I've shared, you believe that. I like to say that systems and relationships allow us to focus on what it is that God intends for us to do, the purpose that He created us for. Okay, it allows us to get to the meat and the potatoes and to be intentionally on purpose. All right, so what are the steps that you need to do to be intentionally on purpose? First, you need to know what it is that you do. Okay, see, God put gifts inside of us. So you need to get clear on what it is that He placed inside of you. Not only what He placed inside of you, but how do you do it? See, anybody could do, God didn't just take all the assignments and take all the people and toss them up in the air and see where they fell. He gave each one of us a specific assignment. Each one of us has a different set of gifts and purposes. As a CEO, each one of us has a different business. Even if you do something that someone else does, yours is different. Why? Because you're the person that's doing it. It's variables in this thing. See, God created each one of us differently. And what you bring to the table is a uniqueness. See, we are fearfully and wonderfully made. You bring this uniqueness to the table that allows you to do what it is that you do. So when I say you need to get clear on what you do, you need to get, what I mean is you need to know what it is you do and how you do it. What's that you factor? What is it about you that makes things happen the way that they happen? What clients are attracted to you? What people come to you for what it is you bring to the table? What is it that you bring to the table? How do you do what you do? Once you get clear on that, then you'll be able to move to that second step. That second step is to build the systems so that you can fulfill your purpose. Okay, so first you got to get clear on what it is you do. And the biggest factor of that is not necessarily the what, but the how you do it. That makes all the difference. Okay, and then you need to, steps 2 and steps 3 go together. Okay, because what they're going to do is they're going to help you do what you do. So first, you need to put some systems in place. How do you do what you do? You need systems and you need processes. These are things that make what you do easier and better at the same time. Okay. And then secondly, I'm gonna put them all together and then I'm gonna give you an example. So then the other part of it is you need to build relationships. You cannot do it all by yourself. Again, God put Adam and Eve. He actually made Adam, and then he took part of Adam to create Eve. He put them here to work and to have relationship. It is within us to need people. It's when we feel like we don't need anybody that things can go to the left. So you need to build relationships that will support you in fulfilling your purpose, that will support you in doing what it is that you do. Okay, so I'm gonna give you an example. One of my most favorite examples is Oprah Winfrey and OWN. Okay, see, when Oprah first started OWN, it wasn't successful. If you remember, it was not successful. She went from having the Oprah Winfrey Show 25 years to now she has this TV network and nobody was watching it. There was no money coming in. But once Oprah did those 3 things that I talked about, and she started to be intentional on purpose, OWN turned around. So let's walk through what happened. First, she got clear on what it is that she does. See, Oprah can do a lot of things, but what is it that made us watch the Oprah show? Oprah has the ability to interview like none other. Oprah can ask the questions. Oprah can have that dialogue with people that is entertaining and educational. You're learning what the people are talking about, but at the same time, you're entertained. It's not a chore to watch it. When you watch the news or something, sometimes it can be a little bit hard and you know that you're watching the news, but watching Oprah, it was just watching Oprah. It was easy to do. She made it very easy. So Oprah got clear. She knows that's the thing that she does. That's what she brings to the table that nobody else can bring to the table the way she brings to the table. So that's what she focused on. She focused on creating shows that allowed her to sit in the seat and be the interviewer. Okay. Then she went on and she created some systems to support her in that. See, especially as small business owners, we don't have a lot of resources to begin with. Okay. And when you don't have your systems and your relationships in place, then you'll find that you're disorganized. And when you're disorganized, it actually pulls on what you do have instead of adding to it. Okay. So what Oprah did is she took the resources that she did have and she created systems around them. And she built relationships in such a way that would build those resources up. So what she did is she knows that running the network is not her thing, but she had people, the best of the best from Harpo, the best of the best from Discovery, and she brought them together and she allowed them to do what it is that they do. All of those things that go behind the scenes to running the network. She allowed them to do it. She created the system and she allowed them to do what it is that they do. Just like God created light and he let it do what it do. Then she built relationships. She started out with relationships with Tyler Perry because see what Tyler Perry does and what Oprah does are two different things. At the end of the day, you're entertained and you're educated, but it's two different ways that it's done. The audiences are different. So she partnered with him, and where she's not as strong, he's strong. And the two of them came together with that system of the people running the business, and OWN started to turn around. It started to grow exponentially. It started to have a profit, to make a profit. Oprah wasn't tied to her desk trying to figure out how to make things work. She was focused on the part that she needed to do, and she allowed everybody else to do the things that they needed to do. The network grew. So then she had to create more systems. She had to bring in more people to take care of more responsibilities. She built stronger relationships with those people. She also built relationships with people like Ava DuVernay, who has a completely different audience, a completely different way of how she does what she does, and the network continued to grow. So see, if you take that blueprint that God had and you figure out what it is you're supposed to do, you figure out the systems that you need to support it, and you figure out the relationships that you need to build, you too can you can have a business that grows and it sustains over time and has profits and doesn't require that you're tied to your desk. Okay. So once you get clear on that, you get clear on your purpose, you get clear on how you should be using your gift, you get clear on how to support that gift, you get clear on the relationships that you need, the partnerships you need to make to fulfill that gift, you'll find that you are intentionally on purpose. See, God blesses us when we seek him first, when we seek to be intentionally on purpose. Because I don't know about you, but I serve a God I serve the Jeremiah 33:3 God, who says, call unto me and I will answer thee and show thee great and mighty things. See, when you tap into what God has put inside of you, because you don't have to chase it, it's inside of you. And you build that first relationship, that relationship with him, and then you take those other steps, He will go above and beyond. See, because he's also the God that goes above and beyond anything we could ever think or ask. That's Ephesians 3:20. And at the end of the day, remember this: God and himself is a relationship. He recreated himself. He sent his son so that we could have life and have it more abundantly. So I challenge you today. I'm asking you today to ask yourself, are you intentionally on purpose? Are you following God's blueprint for your business? If not, it's time to get it figured out. Whether you want to connect with me or you choose to reach out to someone else here at this wonderful conference. There's so many things going on, but you need to get clear on what it is that you're called to do. Specifically, what is it that you bring to the table? And then you need to build the systems, create the systems, because you got to create them. Create them, and when I say create, I don't mean that you go out and you create in that sense. I mean that you tailor fit them for what it is you need. And that can be difficult sometimes. That's why I say, if you need some help, reach out. But you need to create the systems that will support you and then build the right relationships, create the partnerships so that they will support you. Because at the end of the day, we're all here for one reason, and that's to bring glory to God's kingdom, to fulfill our role in his plan here on earth. So now that you have taken the time and you've kind of figured that out, what you're supposed to do, once you take the time, you figure out what you're supposed to do, you figure out how you do it, you get your systems in place, you build the relationships, and you continue to maintain your relationship with God, you will find that you will take the hassle out of your hustle. You will have a back-end solution that supports you in all that you do so that you can make more money and have more free time, so that you will be intentionally on purpose.